If we go back to your first feature film, you had what we'll call a flawless plan to get it made. Can you think back to that time and reveal to us what that strategy was?
Yes. So I was determined to make I just wanted to hit the feature mark. For some reason, I thought that was like 75 minutes. Like that to me was like, if it's 74, it's a short film. If it's 75, it's a feature. So I was like, I just have to hit that minute mark basically. But I knew that on my first endeavor, it was going to be really, really hard to try to tell one overarching story, especially with the amount of money that I had and the experience that I had. So I thought very like logistically and realized like the best thing that you can actually do is make the anthology film, which I would say is like a great first feature idea. It's not necessarily like a film, it's not gonna be a great film in terms of like maybe going to festivals or getting distribution, but it's like an amazing starter film because basically every single day you start start your day and you shoot like 1 or 2 shorts, just either little sketches, or you spend one day doing one whole short or a weekend doing a short. And if it's good, it makes it in. If it's bad, it gets cut. And then you do it again and you do it again. And then each day you're bringing in just one actor to work with you. I have my core crew who will stick around, but I didn't have to have any actors where I'm like, you need to dedicate a month of your life to my film. Everybody comes in for one day, they play their part, and then they leave. And if it stinks, it's gone. If it's great, it stays in. And also to me, I mean, a lot of it was like coming from a place of insecurity, which I wish I could have had more confidence back then about making like a linear narrative. But I also thought like, okay, if this film is so cheap and scrappy, but I still want people to see it, maybe they're not gonna buy it as like a big, important drama. But let me just like, all these little shorts, if you're bored in one, just wait 2 minutes and then it'll start something completely different, and then you maybe really like that one and the one after that one. Then the next one doesn't hit very well, but don't worry, there's another one after that, So it was like it was just an exercise. It was just an exercise in like different styles, different tones, different genres, different actors every single day. Oh my God, it was like director's boot camp, because you bring in a different actor every single day, sometimes twice a day. You're working with 2 different actors for 2 different shorts, and you meet that person, and then you have to figure out what their acting style is, and then you have to train yourself in that moment to like how best to work with that person, and get them to get the best performance possible. Then they're gone, bring in the new person, this person's like entirely different. Some people are like super by the book, I do all my lines, and then other people, they say a written line, awful. And then I'm like, don't stop reading the lines, just be natural, be yourself. And so it was like really, it was very strategic. It was intentionally built that way because I wanted, because it was also a marathon, it needed the endurance test, It was like doing a ton of 5Ks back to back to back to back just to see if I could, hold out that long. And I did. We made it all the way through production. And then in post, finding out, how do you stitch this thing together? How do you make this? Okay, you have like, 24 interesting little shorts and sketches and bits. Turns out if you just play them literally just back to back, you don't want to watch that for 75 minutes. So we have to invent a through line, which became the city of Long Beach. Let's find some B-roll, let's do some musical montage, let's find a way to stitch all these together. And so then I was with what I had, which was all these like little vignettes and sketches and stuff, finding a way to like build a larger narrative out of it, which was like, here's the story of one day in Long Beach, basically. But it was very strategic, and I would recommend it to any filmmaker. Like if if you're just compulsively making shorts, but you're not ready to tell a big feature yet, you're already making a feature. You just got to take all that stuff, find some kind of narrative, or find some kind of narrative through line, some kind of like some theme that you're like each little short deals with, and then package it all together and make sure it's like watchable for 75 minutes, and then like you've got a feature. It might not go, I can't promise you it'll go very far, but it's like now you have one, and you can take what you've learned from that into the next one, which is what I did.
First off, where did you find the actors for the film?
I found the actors on Breakdown Express, which on the actor side is called Actors Access, and then there was another service called Backstage, and then sometimes just like pulling people off the street, like just people that I thought were funny. I also reached out to like some YouTubers and was like, I love your stuff. I think that you are brilliant. I'm making a movie. Would you like to be a part of it? And they did. And like, I mean, they were already working in the style of comedy and like that I wanted to capture. And so like working with them, and they're like all collaborators. They're all constantly working with each other on different things.
Right.
And so it was great to include them.
Yeah, YouTube space is very collaborative.
Yeah.
Would you tell these actors that possibly they were going to be on the cutting room floor? It wasn't.
No
okay.
way. I would be watching them and thinking like, there's no way this is making it in, And then I'd say, cut, well done, brilliant, great job, And then I know I have to send like a really unfortunate email in a couple months. But like, no. And at the very least, they have footage, like I give them footage and I'll cut it. It's all, I'll cut it together and give them something in a prompt manner, which is another thing that like a sin that filmmakers, I have a lot of sympathy for actors. They I think have the toughest job in this industry, and there's so many directors that don't finish their projects and they never get their footage back to their actors, and that is like, how dare you, like that. They're not doing it for the money, probably at your level. They're doing it for the footage. They're doing it for a credit. So it's like, put your thing on IMDb as quickly as possible, and then like get a cut version of their scene back to them as quickly as possible, because you owe it to them, for their effort.
Right. With your second feature, was this a love letter to LA or a cautionary tale?
It's a cautionary tale. It was about myself and my own frustration with not being able to like get in, and like feeling like I was on the outskirts. And I had a drive and I had a passion, but like nobody would give me an opportunity. Now it's also a condemnation of being frustrated and blaming other people other than yourself. Like that character repeatedly fails, but it's only because he continues to make decisions that shoot himself in the foot. His frustration for not getting an opportunity is real, but it's also a product of not being able to change, not being able to, accept something that he thinks is lower than himself. So, in the end of the day, the industry is not the enemy. He's an enemy to himself, and he self-sabotages. But it certainly was about my own frustration of feeling like I was, an outsider in Hollywood, and being in this environment where like, there's just all this money and there's all this talent and things are being made every day. And then like, I can't break my way in there. And we'd be shooting this movie, and in the background they're like shooting some Fox show, or we're like shooting a scene on the side of like the Paramount lot, and I just wanted to hold a banner and be like, see me, recognize me, please. But we were still making something. We were still having a good time.
Right, and sometimes being, shepherded in, it can also spoil you. And then if you're ever pushed out, then you don't have the chops to get back in and do something.
True.
So I think, I know the word character building is so cliche and everything.
Yes, I've built enough character. I am filled with character. I'm done. Somebody shepherd me, for Christ's sake. No, but I think it's true. Like, as much as like it is hard to take a step down, I know I can do it. I won't be happy about it, but I know that if for one day I rise to those ranks and then like I make a flop and I have to go to director's jail, like I know I can make a movie for significantly cheaper. Where I would find that money, I don't really know, but but I could do it. And it's hard, like when I made my first movie, it was like $10,000, and then then the second one was $15,000, and I remember thinking like, oh God, if I only had $50,000, and then like you do make a movie around that, and then you're like, oh my God, I need so much more than this. Like, I mean, I don't know how I'd go back to 10 grand, but if I had to, if that was my only option, then I would do it, because I won't let anything stop me, and I won't let the lack of a green light from an establishment or from a place of legitimacy prevent me from going and making something.
Is it frustrating getting people to work on your film for free?
Yes and no. In LA, there are so many people that do want to be a part of something. Now, usually they're like 19, 20, and they have no experience whatsoever, but they're passionate and they're hungry and they're looking for an opportunity to be a part of something. I don't know. I'm frustrating. No, like I mean, yes, there's some there. I mean, money is the gatekeeper, and but there are a lot of people out there who are young and talented, and they're looking for an opportunity to just be a part of something. Something that's like bigger than themselves, and they'll take the lessons learned there and then apply it to something else. And anybody that works for me, if you're a lowly PA, like I'll be your lowly PA as well. Call me and I'll be there. You help me out with something. I mean, there's if you help me in some way, I want to help you. And I know that it does push me to be. You have to be a much nicer, friendlier, happier guy if you're not paying people, because they're there for a good time. Some directors can be tyrants, but that's because everybody else is getting paid a lot of money to put up with that. If you're not getting paid at all, or if you're only getting paid very little by me, I want to make sure that we're friends and that you want to be there and that we're having fun. And that is it's not frustrating, but it's a burden, because it's exhausting to just be everybody's buddy all day long, which is not really who I am. And also I'm trying to think about my film, think about what's going on. I'm running my own set. I'm being the line producer, whatever. It adds a layer of stress and taxes you, but it's part of it. You have to do that. Once I'm paying people a lot of money, don't even look at me. But until then, it's really, really important to me that at any moment where we just have a break for 3 minutes, I'm asking people, so how's your dog? I don't want to do that, but it's important because I want you to be there. I want you to enjoy yourself, and I want you to feel like you're doing something with me, which is also why there's no hierarchy of power on my sets, at least. I mean, our sets are not big enough to have it really, but there's no egos, there's no divas. Everybody eats at the same table. We're all friends. We're all trying to have a good time, even when it's extremely stressful. But if you create a good relationship with everybody, when it becomes extremely stressful and everything starts falling apart, they'll stick with it instead of jumping ship. you know, and there's been a lot of times where like something really bad happened and they stuck around because they were like, you know, they were committed and they felt like they were a part of something. They were having like a good time, you know.
Looking back on your time in LA or the Long Beach area, can you think of times when you were hungry and maybe other times when you weren't as hungry and you kind of had to get what, I guess to use the term, the eye of the tiger back?
I haven't lost it. I don't think, like, since it started, like, I really haven't lost it. Now, I would say I have the opposite problem. I have to calm myself down. I have to, you know, the tiger has to go in a cage for a little bit, you know, or else my life is like a nightmare, you know? Like this is like a real problem when you have, when film is your side hustle, you know, if you have like a day job like I do, and then I have film, I know my day job is 9 to 5. There's clear. I start at 9 and I end at 5. My film life, because it's not actually my job, but I want it to be my job, there's no guardrails as to like how much time I spend doing this. And like, there's no like, oh, I stop it because I'm like, oh, I'll pick it back up tomorrow. Or I just have this thought, like if I keep going, if I spend another hour into the night and another, then like I'll get to my goal faster. But that's not how that works, actually. You have to like balance your life. And so sometimes, like, it's good to take time away from something to try to, I don't think I have spent a day not thinking about film, but at least I'm not actively working on it, you know. Take a day off, go to a museum, you know, like do something else distracting. Have a different hobby that you're not trying to like turn into a career. Like photography for me. I love photography. I'm not good at it. I will never be a photographer, but it's fun to have something where I'm not constantly thinking to myself like, you know, how do I turn this into my career? Like, how, you know, am I all these years have gone by and has my work been good enough, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just like, for other people, it's like crocheting or something. But having a dream that is so all-encompassing and overpowering, and you feel like you're close, but you're also so far, can be suffocating and really difficult. And so that's, you know, so to answer your question, I've never had to like motivate myself again. I do that every day. It's just who I am, but I do have to calm myself. I can tell you, on my second film, I spent every single day, like, you know, after work and then all through the night for like, I think in between, for almost 2 months straight, every single day working on my film. And it drove me nuts. Like, I had like a mental breakdown. And this was just really unhealthy. It was really, really unhealthy to spend that much time working on something and not having any other outlets or any distractions. And so now I'm making an attempt at, you know, trying to balance, because my work will suffer if I don't do it. You know, if I don't take adequate time off. If I don't try to like think about every single, okay, I've got an hour here, what can I work on my projects that's gonna like advance me, like what's on my list, you know, that I'm gonna like check off or something. If a day goes by and I don't work on anything, it's okay. You know, the world isn't gonna fall apart.
Are you worried about losing that edge if, let's suppose, your quote unquote dream becomes your day job and your reality, and now you're doing only film, you're getting paid?
Yeah.
Are you worried about losing your edge?
No, I don't think so, because because I love doing it so much. Maybe if I like got chewed up and spit out and I lost that love, you know, then maybe that you know would be that problem. But like I really want to do this, and I have so many different projects that I want to pursue, and I want to be involved in so many different, you know, creative endeavors. I don't know. I don't know if I'd lose it. And listen, if I buy a house and have kids, then I can't lose it. You gotta pay that mortgage. You gotta do something.
Right, but then your kids could become the grips, or you could put them.
This is true. Free labor. My cousin, they had a kid. I mean, it's only a matter of time before I'm taking advantage of him to be a part of my film at some point. Every single person who knows me, I have asked them a favor, and I've used their houses, I've used their cars. Come hold a boom pole for me. And you really only get one favor from everybody. I've definitely stretched thin on a lot of people, but I'll have my kids. I mean, they're legally required to help daddy and his films, and his dream, or else we're not going to be able to eat.
And do you work in the entertainment industry for your 9 to 5?
No, I don't. I work in web development for my 9 to 5, it is nice to actually have something that is not in that world. I mean, what I do is very, I don't know, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's it is nice to just turn my brain off from film for just a little bit. Then I go on my lunch break and I'm thinking about film and I'm thinking about film and thinking about it, and then I go back to work and I'm not thinking about it again. And that's actually a relief, that is actually maybe my time away, escaping from just the constant thinking about this and what am I doing next, and where's my project going, and what am I going to be doing in a month, when am I going to finish the script, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Plus, too, being out in the world informs ideas, and so when you're around other people that aren't in the film industry, I think you just have more of a broader perspective of the world. Because we're in this little microcosm here, and everybody's, what are you working on, and this and that. So it's just a different mindset.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it grounds you. I have coworkers and have had coworkers in the past where they don't have, they're not psychos like us,
Right.
They know how to enjoy their lives.
Sure.
And I mean, listen, it's also a blessing to have a huge dream that propels you. A lot of people wander kind of lost, thinking well, what gives my life meaning? What gives my life purpose? I wish I had something that I could just really be passionate about. But it's nice to be around people that don't have that, because then, I mean, there's no competition with them, You go to a networking event and it's what are you working on? Oh, this is what I'm working on. Yo, you finished that script? Oh, I'm pitching this thing. It's a lot, It's supposed to be a collaborative environment, but it just becomes very competitive, and it makes you really question yourself and but I don't know. I mean, it's a whole other thing. The perception of what people are doing versus what they're actually doing, is very different. But just to go on this other thing that I think is really important is when I do tell people that I'm working on something, I mean, I'm very earnest about it. And if I tell somebody that I'm working on something, it doesn't matter who they are. If they're the guy that works at the grocery store and I might never see him again, if I do run into him again, he's going to ask me, so how's that script going? I better be done with that script, Instead of, I have met a lot of people who are I'm still working on the script, still working on that script. And I'm really? When are you going to finish that script? Oh, you're still in post-production? When are you going to get out of post-production? If I tell somebody that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And this is insane, but I will lie awake at night and think about that one random guy that I told about that I was going to do something, and I'm thinking that he's thinking, does Gavin finish that
Silently
script yet?
judging you, yeah.
Wow, did he work on it today? Where's that at? And that is literally psychotic behavior, but it keeps me motivated. I finish those scripts, I make it all the way to the end, make it through post-production. I actually finish those projects because I want to be able to see that person again and say I did finish it, by the way. It's done,
Well, Was that instilled in you when you were younger, that you had to finish something?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. I mean, my parents are very hard workers, and they have fantastic work ethic. But I think this is just like, it's a reaction to all of the people that I've met in this world, in this industry, that, you know, just talk and talk and talk and talk about what they're doing, and I don't want to be one of those people. You know, in the same way where I am happy to say that I'm scrappy, and if they need $1 million to make their movie and I only need 10 grand, you know, I'm happy to set myself apart from them because I need significantly less. I also want to set myself apart because, you know, whereas one person talks about a script that they have been talking about for 3 years and haven't started, if that's what they do, then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm not going to tell anybody about a project unless I'm going to do it for sure, and then I'm going to finish it, you know, because I just don't want to be in that. There's so many people that are like that, you know. No condemnation to them, you know.
It's very common, yeah.
It exists. Everybody's met somebody like that, you know. Yeah.
Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Here is a complimentary question from our book Story Questions.